Welcome everybody. Something a bit different from fishing this one, but it's been on my mind a bit to do, and hope it can help people out. Not just to do with fishing, just men or women, anybody in general. And today's little video, excuse me, I'm a little bit cold, feeling a bit shite in my December, gives me something to do. Anyway, depression, men's mental health. That's what we're going to talk about. I'll keep looking down because I've written it down on a bit of paper just to put me into some categories. So first I'm going to start with is depression. What is depression? Well, what is it? It's a chemical, innit? We're built up our electricity, we're made of chemicals as human beings. We've advanced, we've got a mind, we think things, and we're delicate, complex creatures, human beings, and we analyse things, we think things, and it can go wrong. That electricity what runs through your body and your mind's full of electricity, can go a bit wrong, can go a bit funny, and you can have funny thoughts, funny feelings, and just not be right in yourself. And feel low, and it's different for everybody, but we all have similar things. So depression, I think that's what it is. It's not nice. There's different things, you know, because you get some people what's very lucky, and they don't suffer at all with depression. They get down in dumps. They can get fed up. That's mild depression, if you want to call it even depression, or that. What we're talking about today is mental health, proper depression, and we know how bad that can be. It can be as bad as where people take their lives. So it's a serious topic we're talking about today. So that's what it's going to be about. Right, number 2 on depression. Why do we get it? Why do we get it? $1 million question. You can get it for no reason whatsoever. You can have your life going absolutely perfect, be absolutely happy in life. You can be looking at life, you can be married, kids, great job, great friends, great hobbies, everything on paper, successful and brilliant, and still get depression, because it's what I said earlier. It's a chemical. It's an imbalance. When I went for counselling, I've suffered with depression all my life. I'm bipolar. I've had it from a kid, from being born, and so I've suffered with it, and any advice I can give. This is just obviously my opinion, but seen a counsellor, a shrink, or whatever you want to call it, at one time. I saw a few, but best thing I ever saw were he got a table, he sat at a table, he put a towel down, and he got a bottle of clear, fizzy water, and on it he put my name, and he started writing on it. It was a clear paper around it, and things what he thought, in my case, could be getting me down in dumps and things. And he explained in everyday life, what we do is we have little things. Someone can get you down, somebody's cut you up driving, you get mad and whatever, or somebody at work's a fucking knobhead and it's got on your nerves, or your ups and downs, or you didn't get that promotion you thought you were going to get, or whatever it is. You get things in life that get you mad, get you down, and we need to react from it. So most people work 5 days a week, weekend comes, and what we do to work with that, like you were explaining, with bottle of fizzy water, well, we need to release it. So you uncap a little bit where you get that cysts, and that's releasing it. And now that's different for everybody. So some people are releasing it. It's whatever it is you're doing to release it. You could come home. Some people might be a glass of wine, hot bath, and time with the family, and think, you know what, that's me. I've just done that stress, that bit of thing. I'm relaxed. That's done it for me. Other people might think, right, I'm going for a few pints in the pub with my mates, laughing a joke, That's it for them. It's different for everybody. But we all have that little release valve, what you're showing you, it's done. And then he said, what had happened with me, because I were in one at this particular time, we were in a really bad place. I'd got that many. I'd not been doing any of this, and I'd overthought everything. So he shook all buckle up, and what were wrong with me, all my reasons why I could be depressed, we'd written all down on side of buckle, and there were a lot at the time, because everything seems a big deal when you're down in dumps, the slightest things, everything, you think something big. It can be out, it can be a mate what's not rung you for a bit, and you think something with that. It can be absolutely the stupidest things. You can worry or anything, or get stressed out or out. And anyway, that's all buckle shaking. And you can have big things. What people that lost their lives, people close to you, whatever. They're big things in life. So that's shaking all buckle up, and I've not done any of this. I've not done it. So all I've done was shake it up, and then all of a sudden, you're under the top of buckle, and obviously all lot poured onto the table and poured onto the towel. I'm looking, thinking, fucking nuts, this bloke. He weren't best drink I've ever come to, best doctor, depression doctor ever, and that's why I'm passing on to you. What had happened at the time when you're at your worst, it's all come out at once. All that electricity, all them little fine bubbles is like electricity. What's up and down, goes up and down. It's all part through you, that's your system running through you. All that, how we run, what works is then full of little bits of electricity, and that it. So by shaking all that and not having them little valves, it all come out at once. And then I'm trying to think what it is. Well, it ain't one thing. It's overflowed. It can be years of things. It can things you've buried from your childhood. It can be all what's caused that extreme hour at that time. So it poured all over, and you can't just say it's this or it's that or tomorrow I'm going to be all right. But eventually that buckle is going to settle itself down, and it's going to get back normal, and it takes time. And one of the good things about depression and feeling crap, you do come right. You do have to have a bit of faith in doctors, in yourself, learn what it's about, and you do come right. So that was important to me, explained it in dumb terms, what I needed to hear. I hope this helps for you. That's what that were, because you explained it's chemicals running through your body. It's all got too much, all gone on, and now we're in a right state of time. I just couldn't cope. That would make me worse many years ago. I explained it, and that helped, and didn't get better overnight, but it slowly worked and got better. So that's one of the tips. So if you're at that stage and that bad, then get help and see a counsellor, seek rate people. Obviously, we're talking about depression and not trying to put a down on it. Well, there's some good bits later on what we'll talk about. I've written it down, a few stages of what it's all about. But like, when you're at your worst, it's bad, and people can kill the same way. Men can kill the same because they don't talk about it enough, and people's took their lives. I've had a friend what hung his son over it. I know a lot of people enough people what's killed the son over it, what you get shocked or what you won't think that. So it's not always as it seemed. Men don't talk about it enough, and that's why I'm making this little video. And I've just wrote things down on a piece of paper, help me what to talk about. So anyway, number 3, why don't men talk about it? Straight on with that. Why don't we talk about it? I can only ever give my opinion, you know. Why I think men don't talk about it. So such as me, I was born and bred in a council estate, family of 7, a rough council estate, and I was brought up where men, I'm 54, so I brought up in 80s and whatever and thing, and I was brought up where men, lads, we didn't moan and groan. If you follow, you cut your son as a kid, get up, get on with it. If you're upset or whatever it were, men don't cry. Don't cry. What are you doing? You don't cry. Soft, it's crying. You don't cry. You don't want to show weaknesses. You don't that. So it were bred into us that era. It's changing now, which is good. But that era where I was brought up in, men didn't cry. Men didn't show weaknesses. Men had to be strong for the missuses, the kids, the family, everything else, and that's all well and good, but it's not good really, because we're also human beings and we also have feelings, and And that's why probably them men what have hung themselves, killed themselves, done some terrible things. Like I said, I had a friend what did that, a youngest son, and saw him a few days before that, and I'd have never thought he'd have done that. Do you know what I mean? I talked to him. I knew he was down in drunk, but not to that extreme. So we don't always see, and also such as myself, I suffer with depression, like I've said, that's what this is about. But a lot of time I'm joking. I deal with everything with comedy, which is a good thing, but it's not always. So somebody might say, oh, I had a laugh with Brocky over there, right? Like, don't always see what's going on. You don't know what's going on in here or behind. And it's not a video to get everybody all fucking fed up and down in depression. Hopefully, so people what watch video might think, you know what? I'm fucking fed up and I'm going to talk to somebody. I'm going to talk to one of my mates. I'm going to talk to somebody. I'm going to do it. And like I said, why don't men talk about it? I think it's that reason. That generation, hopefully that's changing. There's a lot on telling now, a lot of different people standing up. Tyson Fury, fucking brilliant. What a man for me. And also not embarrassed, one heavyweight champion of the world, undisputed. What a man in what he's achieved in boxing. But more than that, really more than that, why I personally really got a lot of respect for him, he's had it all. He had it all, and he were close to death, felt like killing himself in the car, if you've ever listened to him and some of the stuff he's done. So he's been that low. He knows what it's like. He's suffered with depression. He knows what it's like, and he's found ways where he deals with it, because it's going to be different for everybody. So we have to find ways to deal with it, which we'll get to. But why don't we talk about it? He's a big man. Nobody can deny he's not. 6 foot something, heavyweight champion of the world. Now, if he can come forward and talk about it and admit he's cried, he's been down, he's been low, then let's all talk about it. Let's get out there, talk about it. Don't, if you're not somebody who wants to talk about it to all the world, to your missus, to your mate, to your parents, to somebody, just don't keep it to yourself. Don't keep it to yourself and try and deal with it, because that don't work and that can build up and it can be bad. So really trying to get my point across with that. Important. Why don't men talk about it? It's that male thing what we're growing up with, which is changing, which is great, where men don't cry, men are tough. Chip up thing, I'm alright, I'll deal with it, I can deal with it. Well, it's alright, but some people can't deal with it, some people take lives. That's how serious it can be. So it needs to be talked about, and I hope I'm open talking about it. Also, I've written down, right, help. Right, number 4, medicine. Medicine you can get, there's absolutely shitload of medicine out there. I'm down to now being on that, what the fuck's this one? Sertraline, I think it's called, or something. I hate tablets. Another thing, a male growing up, my dad was a tough man, saying, you don't take tablets. It was drilled into me from a young age. You don't take tablets. You don't even take tablets for your day. Man up, man up, man up. You don't take tablets. And somewhere along the line, somebody says it to you enough, growing up, it drills in. My father's never took no. He has still now, he's got Alzheimer's, so my mum gives him in, but he's against tablets and he's drilled that into me. And when I were at my worst, many years ago, I've always suffered with it. I've been really low before it passed. And when I were at my very worst, and I eventually went to the doctor and started getting some old, they gave me Valium, Temazepam, whatever it were, with thing, and I were ex-wife at the time, and my kids were still young, and I'd got to provide for them. I were working, I got all sorts to do, and all this fuck up in my head come from nowhere, and I were in a bad way. I can remember not even being able to get out of bed some days and struggling to get out of the house, petrified everything. And back then, I were fit. I were going boxing, I were training, I were doing all sorts. I was top of my game. I'd have fucking fought Mike Tyson in a phone box. He'd have killed me, like, but I'd got the balls to that. Had a lot of confidence in myself. And this come along, lost all my confidence. I was petrified of a mouse. Everything, it changes all your feelings, your emotions, depression. Different for everybody, but that's what it did for me. And I couldn't even walk in. And when I got some of my good days, I remember going to Chipping, trying to be all right. And I was fetching some chips back for family, and it weren't far from where I live. And I'm walking around, and all of a sudden, felt like floor were moving and everything done, and it got to me that much. I dropped them all, and I was holding on to railings. We've got school railings, and it, some of what should have took me 5 minutes to walk back took me like an hour. And it fucking terrible when you get it at your worst. And I went on to doctors, and anyway, cut long story short, I'm probably babbling. Medicine-wise, they gave me Valium back in day and thing, which, if that's what you need, but it weren't for me. I remember taking it, I'm a big lad, I've always been 6 foot, I'm fat as fuck now. I weren't fat then, but I was big and I was fit, and they gave me this Valium, my head had gone, took this tablet at 6 o'clock, and to be honest, it completely, absolutely monged me. I've never took tablets and fucking drugs in restaurants, so I don't know all about all that shit, but I'd gone, I couldn't move, I was fucking slavering from my mouth done. I had to get up to get to fucking bed. One of the things I can remember, if there'd have been a fire in the house, I couldn't have saved my kids or got out of the house. I don't know, I would that fucked up, but I would that doped up. You're that dope, you do forget about your problems. So I half understand why you get it, but it weren't for me. They gave me a dose straight. I had one tablet, for fuck that, I'm not having it no more. I'm not saying that's not for everybody. If doctors know what they're doing, have tablets. I'm a bit stubborn that way. I didn't have them, and I dealt with it myself, which were very hard, and probably took me a lot longer to pull myself through it than what it would if I'd have took medicine. But I chose to do it myself, and it were baby steps, and it were hard work. But it's hard when people's that bad. And people don't know might look at this and think, what's he fucking on about? There's always somebody moaning about depression and all this, that, and other. Fucking get on with it. And that's that attitude what fucks it up for a lot of people. Because unless you've been that low, and I don't mean fed up and down in dumps or this or whatever, depression's a fucking serious thing when you've got it bad. When you're bad and you've got bad thoughts in your head and you don't want to carry on, fucking scary thing. Place I won't wish on anybody. My worst enemy I won't wish it on. But it does get better. So even at your lowest like that, rate thing, like I said, it's a chemical imbalance in your brain. We built up all little bits of electricity in the brain, what pulse, send messages and that all on. It all just gets fucked up sometimes, but you can always pull it back right. So no matter how you feel, you can come back right. You can come back right for years and years and all that. So there's always an alternative to be better. Let's have a look what else I've written down here, so I don't just babble along, same thing. Anyway, that one, number 4, medicine out from doctors. Right, talking to other men. Very, very important. At time, like I say, stubborn, I were boxing, not that I've ever been good about boxing. I'm good about boxing, but I loved it. I went boxing as a kid. I were not one of these what said I did this or did that, because I fucking didn't. But I love boxing, I love going, I love getting fit. I enjoyed sparring side it, went to Wicker Boys as a kid. For so many years, then got older, took my kids, and Mick Taylor, brilliant bloke, went on with the Croft House and everything, then went to Glen Road, Sheffield Boxing Centre, brilliant place, and boxing was a place with a lot of people, a lot of friends, and for me, it helped me sort my head out, because your training, which training helps, there's a balance in training, chemical. Once you start training, doing things health-wise, well, it doesn't have to be boxing, jogging, fitness, swimming, don't matter what it is, you're getting some joy out of that, what's to your head, so that helps anyway. But for me with boxing, I can only talk about that. That's a good thing to get into, a bloke or whatever it is, in my opinion, because there's a good group of lads and they're all good pals and the people you can talk to, and they're tough lads, and that's who I talk to at time. I've got some good mates, and I talk to people where people notice, and always acting daft, putting a finger on, and I talk to people, and it helps. Have some one-to-ones. Not always good to talk in a group because you feel like you're being judged, but on a one-to-one, people want to help, genuine mates. Sit down, explain it to them. They might not understand if they've not been in the same, but I guarantee you they'll be supportive and they'll help you. And sometimes getting it out of your system, how you're feeling, what you're going through. You're telling them, but you're listening to yourself, and you're analysing it yourself, because your best deal is yourself, I think. My dad used to always say the same. Is trying to get yourself better. So by talking, doing things, even this video, I'll probably look back and think, oh yeah, that made sense, or talking bollocks or whatever. But doing that, you can help yourself out. So talk to other men. Men, don't be scared of talking to other men. Talk to your missus if you can. It don't have to be men, but not enough men talk to men. So talk to other men about it, how you're feeling, because sometimes you don't want to talk to your missus or it, because you don't want to be seen weak or how you're feeling it, and some things might be private, what you don't want to talk about your missus. you might have got some problems and you want to talk to your mate about it, do you know what I mean? And he'll understand it sometimes more. Or on different cases, your missus mine or your parents or whatever. Different for everybody, but get talking. You see on telly, and it is a good thing to talk. So talk to people. I hope I've covered that. So what else I've written down in here? Baby steps. Right, baby steps. People what's in a really bad place, there'll be all different people watch this video or whatever, and your stages of depression. So when you're at your worst or whatever, or you're bad, and there's people hospitalised. So many stories I can tell you, different mates I know about also. It's one not long ago was being in hospital, bad bit. It's baby steps. And I was saying that to him, it's not going to change overnight when you're at your worst, but it's little steps, it's little things. Now I can remember, which might sound crazy, comedy has always helped with me. And when I were at my worst, I've had a lot of worst patches, but one time in my life I was really, really, really bad. And some years ago, when my kids were young, and I love foals and horses, and I'd got it all on, well, back then it was VHS, and I got it all on VHS, and I kept sticking it on, and I was laid on floor all the time. I couldn't go to work, I couldn't do all, my head was fucked, and a lot of time I was just falling in and out of sleep because you're tired all the time. But I just kept playing it, and every now and again I'd get a little smirk come on, even though I felt shit might be comedy seeing it done. And normally I'd watch them and just be hysterical all the time, but I was that bad, I weren't laughing 24/7 like I normally do. But slowly but surely, jokes, some of the things on it, got me feeling a little bit better in myself, and being around my kids at the time, that helped, you know what I mean? I'm thinking, I've got to pull myself together for these, and all reasons you've got to do it, and for yourself. So baby steps, don't think to yourself, I've got to get ready for tomorrow, I've got to get back to work in 2 or 3 days, or you can't say when that's going to happen. You don't rush, no, you've got to do it. If you try and do something too quick, it'll not work. You've got to do it slowly, get yourself right, baby steps. That's my advice on that. What I'm talking today is just my experiences, my advice. I've written things down to talk about. Number 7, sports and getting out there. And important. I want to talk to you a little bit earlier about that, sports, getting out there. Well, sports, anything, any gym, any swimming, walking, biking, cycling, footballing, boxing, tennis, anything. Get involved in that if you suffer with depression and getting down at time. Get involved with that. You might not feel like it at time, so it'll take time to start enjoying it, but push yourself, get involved with it, because you'll get in with a group of people, you'll get in doing something, and you'll start enjoying it, you start loving it, you start seeing some results in yourself, start feeling better in yourself. And it's a known fact that, like, training creates endorphins in your brain, good endorphins. It's like sex, you have sex, you feel good, don't you? Have an orgasm. You're talking about sex now, but you do. It's a nice feeling. Endorphins done. It's that feeling you've had an orgasm, or even without an orgasm, that run up to sex and everything else. Endorphins in your brain, you feel good. You can get that. Out of training as good sometimes if you really get into it, and you get a buzz out of whatever it is you're doing. Find your sport, different for everybody. I'm not telling somebody what sports you're getting. In my life, I've loved boxing. Now I'm big into my fishing. I get on with boxing. I'm as fat as fuck now, and I'm heaviest I've ever been. One of my faults is that when I get a little bit down, I comfort eat. Not a good thing. It's something I've dealt with. I did it as a kid. Went through a bit of shit as a kid. I'm not getting into all that. And I used to comfort eat. And it's always stayed with me. So sometimes when I'm down in dumps, I want shit. I shouldn't eat. Fucking Haribo's, chocolate, some crap. Makes me feel good for a few minutes, and that's it. It's like a fix. But I'm not taking drugs. I'm not doing all else. It's my thing. What gives me a pick up. I'm not a drinker. I don't really get drunk, or I have a drink now and again. But I've never got into drink to solve anything, or gone into drugs to solve anything, or any of that shit. So the worst thing I've done is food, and it's not all food. I like my food, but I've got mates that eat fucking 10 times more than me. Lucky twats, they can eat all sorts, and they're as fit as out. And mine just goes straight on. I'm fucking massive, biggest I've ever been, and I suffer with it. And it's harder when you get older, getting it off and rest of it. stages in my life when I've been fit. But I've always had to work hard at being fit and getting weight off. I've always been a big lad, but I've been fit in my life. I'm not fit at the minute, far from it. And that doesn't help. And my New Year's resolution, like always, is try and get it off. Every now and again I get it off. A few years ago, I lost 5.5 stone, kept it off for about 8 months at most, crept back on, got back into it, put it on and more. So I'm going to try and get it off again, and I'm going to try and keep it off. That's an ongoing thing. That's just something for me, but it is connected. Because like when I'm down in dumps, I eat. It's all part of parcel when you get fed up and stuff. But sports, what I'm talking about, getting out there doing it. For me, fishing, outdoors is amazing. Getting outside, we're not supposed to be in concrete. We're not supposed to be stuck in houses. That will get you depressed. You're not supposed to be stuck at work all the time, depending on what work you do. But when you get a chance, even going on a walk, countryside, it's built into us. It's our natural thing. It's our thing from history. It's in his DNA. Getting outside, getting round water, getting round fucking natural stone, getting round trees, seeing nature, seeing sunsets, seeing sunrises, seeing birds, seeing animals, getting out there will release endorphins in your brain and your body, what makes you feel better. That fresh air, get out there. Big thing to do that. Get out, do whatever sports you want, but even better if you can do a sport outside. I love fishing. When I go fishing, I love it. Whether I'm on my own, but I meet up with a lot of mates, and one of the good things we have a right laugh. And people saying you caught no, like I went over there fishing, it's freezing, didn't catch out, and they go, don't understand it. It's cost me some money to go. It's getting out there. It's about being out there in nature, and it's quiet. You get a lot of time to think, but good thoughts and in a nice environment. So whatever sport you're into, get into sports. That will definitely help. Also, when we 9, laughter. These are just my opinion. I've always been round comedy. My mum's the funniest person I've ever met in my life. My dad's quite witty. All family are. We've got a bit of a warped sense of humour. Not everybody gets us, but I love a good sense of humour, and I love things like Kenny Everett. He had me stitches. Monty Python, it's not everybody's cup of tea. Fools and Horses, absolutely loved it. It's real, and I like real life things what are funny. Do you know what I mean? I can laugh at some people. Why does he laugh? I can't help it. It's hard of being able to stand in front of the teacher getting done and smirk and laugh. And it weren't me being arrogant. It's hard of work. I couldn't help it. It was just, I don't know, a nerve thing or whatever. I've always, laughter has been a thing, and having a laugh and a joke and messing about is a brilliant way to endorphins, get you, balance out what we talked about earlier. That bottle of fizzy water, what we're describing is your balance. Every day someone gets on your nerve, de-stress it. You have laughter, that's just letting that stress out, and it lets a lot of stress out. Also balance yourself out. So have a laugh, get out there, have a laugh. Like I said, with boxing, good group of people. I used to go at Sheffield Boxing Centre, some of the best memories I've ever had. Glen Road, brilliant bloke. All lads down here, what used to go, all my mates what used to go. It weren't just training, it was a place where you come together and had so much fun and laughter and respect for each other. So there's loads of sports out there. I can only talk about ones I've done, and I'm sure you get that in all sports, whether you're part of a running club or a cycling club or golfing, whatever it is you're into. Get out there, have a laugh with your mates. That helps. That'll really help with depression, anybody. And if you're a loner and you don't get out much or you're struggling mixing, make that effort. Make that effort, because you'll be surprised. You'll make friends. So even if you're quiet, you don't get out there, push yourself. No, it's different for everybody. I've always been confident in that side, and some people aren't. But then what aren't, push yourself. Get out there, get a sport, come mix with people. You'll thank me for it. Right, accepting depression. That's last and finish up on accepting depression. Right, I'm 54. What I mean by that, accepting it. There were times in my life in my 20s thinking, I fucking know why am I feeling like this? I don't want to feel like this. I want to be cured. And what I realise is there's not a cure, unfortunately. But there's a lot of things can put you back right. Do you know what I mean? So I know I'm all right now at the moment. Do you know what I mean? But I know I'm going to feel depressed again. I know I'm going to have my bad days again. I know I'm going to probably have some bad days. Hopefully never going to go back to as bad as I've been in my life, because I think I've learned a lot from them. And I hope this helps anybody to do the same thing, what can pick up out from what I'm saying. So learning to accept it is, I've got it. Do you know what I mean? I've got it. I've had it from a kid. I'm bipolar. That's not all of a sudden going to go magic cure. You're not going to feel like that anymore. And bipolar's not always that bad. Sometimes you're down in dumps, and sometimes you're to other scale, what they don't like it to be, where you're on an high, and people around with fucking rate laugh. Just go beyond and above. You can do crazy things, daft things, which I don't know. Like, how can I explain it to you? Bipolar on an high. I used to work down Skegness and do markets. I loved it. Did it for years, selling DVDs and everything. And one time coming back, being out clubbing and whatever, and there's a place at Eastgate it's got a swimming pool on it, and I were on my own and there was a window open, and I was young and fit, couldn't climb up some steps a minute, but I was fit then. I climbed up whole thing, got into this window, climbed into a swimming pool. I went robbing out. I switched music on, switched lights on, and stripped off bollock naked and started swimming up thing. I'd had a drink, I was drunk. But I was having a laugh and I entertained myself and I was laughing to myself. Anyway, I got pulled with coppers weight because there were cameras on it, got seen. Obviously, some of these coppers had seen me before at market and thought I know him. I've seen that small dick before or whatever, I don't know, I'm only kidding. But anyway, they know me with face. Come and got me, got arrested for it. And I chucked window, done no damage and at all, do you know what I mean? Climbed back out, not stole out, not done any damage. Just weren't allowed in, do you know what I mean? I just trespassed, which is bad enough. And that was bipolar. That was me on my eye. You can get to, I'm bipolar. I know we're talking about something else now. It's a mental health problem going. I can be on ice. I can be like crackers in a different way, in a good way. Doctors don't want you to be that way because you can be too much. You can do some things they don't want you like that. I'm getting that trying to explain this one because obviously that one got me into trouble and I shouldn't be doing it, and why? And people look and think, well, he's fucking nuts, why would you do that? That kind of things you can do with bipolar when you're on your highest. When you're on your lowest, you can't even get out of bed. On your highest, you're loving life that much. You're on different levels. You can't sleep. You're full of life. You're too much. From one extreme to other, you're loving life, and I like that, but it's not good for you. You don't want you to be in between, a balance, and that's what they give you tablets for, to keep your balance instead of being too high. They don't want you low, because if you're too high, you can drop down and too quick. So they want your balance. Enough about bipolar. Anyway, accepting depression, we're talking about it a minute. So it's different for everybody. So if you suffer with it bad, like I do, and you have suffered with it bad in past or whatever, chances are you're probably going to get it again. But we learn to deal with it. It's like out in life. Once you learn to deal with something, you deal with it better, and you know there's going to be a better day. Sun's still going to come up again next day. Sun's always going to rise. So even though you feel like you're in a dark cloud and everything's dark and black in your head, the sun will rise again. You will feel happy again. You will feel on top of the world again. You will love yourself again. You will love people around you again. You will feel good about yourself again. So don't forget that, and it'll come. And you want it too quick when you're feeling shit. You want it next day. It don't always work that way, but it will come. Baby steps. You'll get there. Accepting it is important, and I accept it. I know I've got it. I'm man enough to talk about it. I hope it helps people, what I've talked about today. Completely different subject to what I've normally put on YouTube with fishing, but it's. I hope it helps. I hope it helps some people out there, because something we talk about a lot of time on fishing banks. There's so many people. You'd be surprised how many people suffer with it in some way in their life. So this is my experience of it. I hope it's helped in some ways. If you've had it a long time and that, you're probably going to get it again. Learn to deal with it, but learn to angle it. See the signs early. I get signs when I'm thinking I can get a day and I feel low. I'll try it not to go into 2 days or 3 days. Sometimes it's worse, it can do. But if you're watching it, you're learning about it, you get into it, try and pull this in right, think, like me, I start feeling shit, I'm going fishing. I'll get out, I'll do fish, I know that helps me. Even if it's just going for a walk, I'm going for a walk. Even if it's just going down my mum's and dad, she always has me in stitches, I'm down it done. Go down, 5 minutes of sitting in my mum's house, crazy house, anybody knows us, Brooks family. she'll have me in stitches. She's like Mrs. Brown, and that's not a joke, but a million times funnier. So just being India, her attitude to life and her jokes has me in stitches. So being around positive people, friends, whoever it is, being around things what make you happy in life, do that when you start feeling feeling a bit crap. Get out there and do it. It will change, it does get better. Talk, there's always somebody out there to talk to. If you know me, talk to me. I put a thing on Facebook, an health thing, a depression thing. I had two people talk. But you have to remember, sometimes I'm not always in best myself. I've gone and helped people before. I've drove out to people I've not even met who's felt suicidal. Went out and met somebody who was down in dumps, just fell out with his missus and kids, and he wanted to top his sin, and he ended up getting section. I've never met him in my life. Through talking to him, he ended up getting into the thing. He's come right, thank me for it, become pals. So I've tried in life, just things like that I've done, but I can't always do it. Sometimes somebody can ring me or text me. If I'm not rating myself, I can't help other people. I've got to be rating myself before I can give them my positive thing, which is most of the time I'm right. So if you know me, I'll try and help you in any way I can. But you have to accept sometimes I'm not always in best frame of mind myself. I deal with myself, and if I'm feeling shit, I can't always deal with somebody else that's feeling shit. But most of the time I'm right, I'm blabbling on again. So there's people out there, get friends. If you know me, I'll try and help. But whether you know me or not, we've all got friends, wherever you're watching this, any country in the world or wherever you are, any city, you've all got friends, you've all got people around you. Talk. Get talking. Talking and think of some of the things I've said. I hope it helps you. I hope it's out there. Join your sport, get out doing it. Do something with your life, and it'll help. And the sun will always come out, the sun will always shine. There's always a better day. And life can be good. When it's good, it's a right laugh in it. We can have a laugh with this world. It's good. We're not here for a long time, but we're here for a good time if we can. So enjoy life. All the best. Team Brook. I hope you enjoy it if you do. Get your sense right.